Our next guest. Let me tell you something. I don't know who you slept with, Jacksonville, but you're getting preferential treatment. Because they're bringing out the best and the brightest. They didn't roll a turd and glitter and throw it on the stage and call it a show. They're bringing you the real stuff. Unbelievable. You get Beaver and now you're falling in love with this guy. This gentleman is one of the most fascinating and most interesting men we all know. He shows up in the green room. We pick his brain about everything social and political. Love this guy, love his mind, even though he killed me. Mark Pellegrino!
You guys got me feeling good.
Yeah.
I'm swaying. Yeah. Most awesomest rock band. What's up, man? So this is my first time to Jacksonville. Yeah. I'm digging it. My flight over was a little bit sketchy, though. We flew without a piece of equipment. Yeah, from Chicago. There's these things called air conditioning boxes. And they have 2 of them on a plane. You're supposed to fly with 2 of them. You can fly with 1, but you can't fly as high. So they decided to fly with 1. We flew low and into a storm. And the pilot came on and said, well, this turbulence is pretty severe. We can't go up. And we can't go down. Because we might not have enough fuel to make it to Jacksonville. This is not the kind of thing you want to hear when you're hurling through space at 500 miles an hour. Finally, they came on and said, we've done some calculations. We're going to drop lower to get out of this turbulence. We should be fine.
Should be.
Now, there were about 45 minutes left in the flight, and guess who wasn't fine for that entire 45 minutes? I mean, the physics work for flying, but it's a little sketchy, right? Even though you're not as safe on the ground driving, you feel safer because it's so familiar. And you have a little bit more control, or so you think. So needless to say, I think I'm driving home. Wow, we have 2 huge lines. Are these questions? I love the Q&As. Hi, Jacksonville. I love going to different parts of the world, places that I haven't seen, and meeting the Supernatrual family. Look how huge this audience is. Awesome. Shall we just begin the festivities? Shall we start? I'm so embarrassed. I love you too. Hey, how are you?
Good, you?
I'm very good.
Big fan, sorry. Good heavens. My question is, what do you think Luce, Mike, Sam, and Adam did in the cage?
I think that answers the question right there. I can't answer that question anymore. And I'll tell you why. Because when I've answered in the past, I've gotten in trouble. Now, I like trouble. But I'll give you an example. I answered that question in San Francisco. And for the next 12 hours, I was beaten senseless by people on social media. No, it was fun. It was fun for a while. And then it got, see, if any of you follow me on Twitter, I'm not one, fuck it. I'm not one to back down when the punches are flying. And so I often get into some pretty crazy Twitter debates, which seems like a worthless occupation. It really, and I tell myself that every time I'm doing it. This is completely pointless, but I'm obsessed, I have to say this. Fuck you! No, so I engage at first, and then it becomes terrifyingly, like, vicious, and I start blocking. So when I at San Francisco, when I only suggested that there was a liaison between Sam and Lucifer. I suggested that you might have noticed Sam walking with a different gait. What? And I got in trouble for that. That's why I'm not saying it here. You guys are so dirty. No, I think they just had a perennial game of strip poker. What do you think happened?
I can't say it.
That's enough. Yes.
Hi.
Hey.
I just want to say I love you. But my question is, what was your favorite scene to shoot on the show?
Oh, let's see. My favorite scene. I mean, the show is my favorite show to work on. I sort of have a standing deal with my agents and managers that if ever Supernatural calls, I must do the show, no matter what I'm doing. So, oftentimes that has created conflict because I've been doing the show simultaneously, but I don't care. I just love working on the show. I love working with everybody on it. You know, I really liked tormenting Sam. And Jared was a good sport about it too. So, you know, those were fun because they were playful. And I liked when my character killed everybody in that town. Buried the women, children, and was sort of upset about it, but you know, you gotta do it. That was one of my favorite scenes to shoot too, and the conditions were really crazy because it was a long 15-hour shoot, very late at night to 2, 3, 4 in the morning. It was misty and rainy. It's Vancouver, and Vancouver's misty and rainy and cold all the time. It was really fun working with everybody there. And yeah, that was probably my favorite time.
Thank you.
Yeah. What's up?
Hi. So throughout the ages, Lucifer has been portrayed many different ways on several shows and books and all that stuff. So I want to know how you make Lucifer your own character.
Well, that's sort of the actor's job is to sort of wrap themselves around the part and bring their own unique take to a character. I think the supernatural myth, the way the writers have done it, sort of makes for a unique Lucifer too, right? And have you noticed in every incarnation of Lucifer, he's slightly different, not just even literally like with Misha, and with Rick Springfield and so. But he's different even when I play him, from one season to the next. You know, he's one. You know, there's different spins on the character. So I mean, the way from my point of view as an actor, the way I make it my own is to just identify with the human part of the story. We can't understand what it's like to be an angel, but we can understand what it's like to be a son, or a brother, or a lover. And we can't understand the celestial struggle between Lucifer and God, but we can understand a son scorned by his father. And we can understand being upset about that and wanting revenge. And so that's the way I make it my own, is understanding it as a family struggle. And it so happens that the whole show is sort of about that, right? The whole show is about family and loyalty and love and going to extremes to protect the person that you love. And I think we can all relate to that. So it's sort of built-in ownership in the script itself. Does that make sense? Awesome. I love that the boys, you know, in the story will kind of go like this to everything if it means hurting their brother, right? God, or Chuck, could say, do this. I'm like, nah. We need heroes like that nowadays, I think.
Yeah.
Right? People who are willing to stand up and say, no. No. What's up?
Hey, I'm a big fan. Mulholland Drive is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. And you know, anyone that has not seen it needs to see it. But I just was wondering what it was like to either like be on the set of a David Lynch movie or just kind of work with him. Is it at all close to as mind-numbing as the movie turns out to be? Like, I don't know, what's he like?
Mind-numbing is a very interesting way of describing that movie. I saw that movie in a press screening. So there were press there. It was in a little theater, and I had that feeling. Please don't attack me on social media for saying what I'm about to say. I had that feeling after I saw the movie, like I'd been to a party and gotten roofied, woke up with no clothes on, and didn't know what the hell just happened. So you say mind-numbing, that's my description of the movie. Actually, the movie was not mind-numbing originally. You know, it was a TV series, and the story was a very linear story, with some interesting sort of Twin Peaks elements to it, but not as crazy as it became once David took it over again and reshot half the film. That said, it was great working with him, because he's an artist in the real sense of the term. You know, he's not pretentious. He's open and active-minded and childlike in his curiosity and enthusiasm, and it has some odd quirks. I remember we were shooting on location at a place called the Barclay Hotel. It's a Skid Row hotel downtown Los Angeles. It's a scene, I don't know if any of you have seen the movie, where I blow the guy's brains out and the bullet hits a woman next door, and then I have a fight with her, and then have to kill her and kill somebody else. It's like it's a kill fest. Well, he sort of sat off camera on his little apple box. They call it an apple box. It's not it's a chair. It's just a little brown wooden box. He sat on that. And he had a megaphone, kind of like the character Lucifer had when he was tormenting Sam. Now we're in a closed office space. It's an apartment that's about as big as these 4 squares, so you don't need a megaphone. And he's sitting there, and in between the takes, his direction was, okay, Mark, I want you to stand there and exude happiness, just exude happiness. And right before action, he puts the megaphone up to his mouth and goes, action!
Exude deafness.
Thanks, Dave. And I noticed he spent a lot of time photographing the dead guy on the desk, because he had constructed it so that my bullet went through his head and carried strands of his hair straight out, and at the very tip of it there was a droplet of blood, and he spent an obsessive amount of time making that poor actor lay there so that he could photograph that drop of blood. That's an artist. Did that satisfy your curiosity?
Great.
Oh, good. Awesome. Hey.
So I was wondering, how was it when Misha played Lucifer?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. And I was sort of honored and happy that he wanted to kind of put pieces of my version of Lucifer in there with his own spin. So I found him pretty funny, right? I found myself watching moments and going, oh, that's good. I think I'm going to steal that. Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. You? Good. What? What? You seem doubtful. No? You're good? Copy that. Hey.
Hi there, Mark.
Hey.
Welcome to Jacksonville.
Thank you.
First of all, thank you for being the actor that has such a range that you make things very believable and you make the audience feel what's going on.
Thanks.
With that, you have to, because I could just tell, and it's not an insult, you seem to be like a mental monster. Because, because you have the range of going after people in politics. It's such a broad section of things that you can take on. And we've seen it, everybody on Twitter has been like, oh my gosh, there he is, let's go, Where do you take that yourself in order to be able to play those torture scenes and in order to be able to draw Jensen and Jared and Misha and them I know you guys have a connection, but how do you kind of draw that?
You said where do I draw for the torture?
Not just that.
But that's sort of an interesting part of the question for me because I may think you guys have a perspective. Maybe you guys don't because we're so close as fans and actors. I don't think those barriers are so much there that where you think idealistically about us that we're immune to difficulties and issues in our own lives. And for me, unfortunately, I have a wealth of life experience to draw from for the tortured part of things. I think I understand grief and the desire for revenge, loneliness, being on the outside, all those things that contribute to Lucifer, for example, Lucifer's emotional profile. And the added thing is that, in Supernatural, you have an atmosphere where everybody's so close with each other and knows each other like family, where you can feel sort of free to explore those things more and more and more. So, unfortunately, I have a wealth of life experience to draw from for the negative parts of roles. But, I think that in order to play something with a certain amount of dimension, I don't want to sound like I'm being pretentious here. You have to have a fairly wide variety of exposure to all kinds of different things, not just traveling the world and seeing the way different people live and act. It contributes to your wealth, but your reading, what you take in, what you ingest intellectually, contributes to your ability to add scope to a part, I think. So you want to get deep, travel and read and get to know cultures and broaden your horizons beyond our little village here, And that's my thought. Does that make sense?
It does, perfect.
Awesome. Life is good. It is. Even though some things in it really suck.
question for you was, what was it like when people first started coming up to you and asking, hey, can you do conventions and autographs and photographs for Lucifer, since everyone loves him, even though he's the biggest bad of the show?
I loved it. I mean, I didn't have to audition for Lucifer, which was a nice phenomenon for any actors out there. If there are any actors out in the audience, you understand what a pain in the ass auditioning can be. Terrible, terrible process. It's horrible. And not an assessment of talent either. There are some great actors like Dustin Hoffman, Marlon Brando, who couldn't do the things that actors have to do today, couldn't jump through the hoops that actors have to jump through today. So not having to audition for that was great. And when I got the phone call, this just sort of connects very much to what you're saying. When they asked me if I would be interested in playing Lucifer, I was like, yeah. So, you know, my own personal take on Lucifer as the original rebel, since I am a rebel myself, I find it an honor to be associated with a being that went like this to authority, to unquestioned authority. So in spite of the bad rap he's gotten, and in spite of how twisted his psychology has become from being on the outside and hated for so long, the rebellion started from a very good premise. The sacred no, or the why. You want me to do that? Why? You should always ask those questions. You should always say why. And you should always reserve the power to say no. And right? Awesome.
Hello, sir.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm not bad, not bad.
My question was, how do I outwardly show that I'm a fan of Supernatural without appearing to be a Satanist? 'Cause this happens too many
That's number one.
I would say this. I think about this sometimes when I'm singing a song enthusiastically in my car, or lip syncing a song, which is more what I do. And I come to a red light, and all of a sudden I go, because I don't want anybody to see me. And I think, why? It's my fucking life. I'm experiencing joy right now. Why am I letting my sense that somebody might think I'm absurd, crush my joy? Who cares what they think? It's your joy. Embrace it. Embrace it. The opinions of others. But I'm in that boat too. I don't rise above that. I do rise above it consciously, because I know it's a bad thing to be addicted to, right? Life is meant to be lived and enjoyed. Find that joy. You find it here. There's nothing to be ashamed of in finding your joy. Nothing.
Hi. So I was wondering, so like you answered the question earlier about how like what you thought Lucifer did while he was in the cage with Michael and Sam. But what do you think he was doing in the cage pre-release? Yeah, like before he was released, before he had anybody there, when he was by himself.
Everything that he was doing with others, he was doing with himself. Whatever that means to you, take it and run. Oh, poor Lucifer.
That video.
What a bad rap, man. I'm gonna cry right now. I almost just cried. It's terrible. Bad rap. Caged up like an animal. Because he wants to destroy humanity. Whatever. That's not why. We both know. Yeah.
Hi. I think to us, the fandom, you are the original Lucifer. But recently, your role has been taken by Misha and Rick, but who...
It's been temporarily adopted.
Obviously. So, are you gonna hold a grudge about that?
No. Although I can hold a grudge about that, but I won't. Because story is story, right? And story, it has to pursue its own logic. And it made sense for Lucifer to hop to those vessels. It made sense within the mythology. So I defer to that, to the logic of story over my feelings. But thank you for reminding me. I'm so filled with hatred. Hey.
Hi.
What's up?
So you have been on two of my all-time favorite television shows, Supernatural and Lost.
Cool.
And Jacob was a little odd, I think. When you got the part, did you know what the character was going to evolve into?
No. No, when I got the part, well, there was so much interest on the part of the fandom for Lost to get spoilers. Why is that? Why do you want to know what's going to happen? As opposed to just being surprised and titillated by the moment. So many people wanted spoilers that auditions were a highly secretive process. And the audition material was not the actual scene itself. The character names were not the character names. So I had no idea what I was auditioning for. Even though the audition scene I did was the scene on the beach, sort of, between the Man in Black and Jacob. It was where you discover the identity of Jacob. I didn't know who it was and the significance of the character until I was actually on the set after I landed. I was going to a wardrobe fitting, and Michael Emerson, you know Michael Emerson, he's awesome, right? He walks up to me and says, you're our Jacob. Shakes my hand, and that's when I found out that I was the character Jacob. Right? That's a little freaky.
Really? Yeah.
And I'm glad I didn't know that beforehand, because being the guardian of the island and all the secrets of the island is sort of a tall order, and I think that might have intimidated me had I gone in there knowing that I was God. Knowing that I was, I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong audience, knowing that I was Chuck. And I did find Jacob to be a weird character, to be honest with you. I mean, I felt I identified more with what the Man in Black wanted and what he was saying than I did with the altruistic, sacrificial, fuck everybody's lives up kind of guy that Jacob was. In fact, I would sit across from Titus when he was expressing you know, when his character was expressing what he wanted, and I'd go, that's perfectly fine. Go off the island, go, explore, buddy. You want to know the world. You want to know why things are the way they are. That's fantastic. I thought Jacob was a retrograde force for sure. Anyway, thank you. Yes.
Hi.
Hey.
Have you ever felt like weird playing Lucifer since he's such an interesting character?
I love interesting in there. The interesting that can mean so many things besides interesting. No, I've never felt weird playing Lucifer. You know, there was somebody who asked me one time, Mark, has anything bad happened to you since you started playing Lucifer? Because, you know, on the set of The Exorcist, people died. And he said, well, bad shit was happening to me before I played Lucifer. And would God, if there is one, I'm an atheist for those of you who don't know, but let's suppose for a second there is a God. Why would he punish people who worked on that movie by killing them when that movie did more to convert people to Christianity than probably any singular religious experience ever had up until that time? And if you believe in God, isn't Satan part of that equation? One seems to need the existence of the other. I don't know, it seems like the belief in one sort of brings you to the belief in the other. So, no, I feel good playing the part. I enjoy it. I look at each time I've played it as a challenge and fun, because I get to work with people I really like. And, you know, you don't always get that chance in the movie business. Really smart, good-looking dudes. Thanks. Thank you. Sorry, I don't mean to be irreverent. Yes.
Hi.
Hey.
I'd like to say thanks for always speaking your mind, even if it's not popular. Way to go.
Thank you.
Also, besides Supernatural, well, I'm still mad that The Return was canceled.
Me
very
too.
upset about that. But Lost, I mean, you've been in so many awesome things. What is your favorite set or job to be on besides Supernatural, of course, that, you know, and why?
I think, you know, there's two that I really enjoyed besides Supernatural. A show called The Closer. James Duff, the executive producer of that, is just an awesome human being. And I love him because they did something on that show I have never seen anywhere. One week I was working with a hair person, and I'm sorry, her name escapes me at the moment because I'm having a senior moment. She was working on my hair, and then 3 weeks later she was directing an episode. And that's her real aspiration, to be a director. And I thought that was fantastic. I love that about a show that doesn't... Hollywood can be really stratified, really caste-oriented, caste in the sense of C-A-S-T-E, like a stratified social system. And you know, they deal with you according to the rung that you fall in on that social system. And to see that didn't exist on that show was really cool to me. And also, you know, when I did 4 episodes of NYPD Blue. And something, I think 4. I played different characters. And I always just felt like I belonged there. You know, when I was working with Dennis Franz and Jimmy Smits, it just felt like the set worked. There was something about the way the show was run and the guys that I just felt like it was a home. And so I dug that. And a moment to speak to your comment about saying things even when they're unpopular. We are, I think, increasingly living in a world that is governed by a mob mentality. And what's popular is considered right. And I think we have a moral obligation to stand against mobs. Even if what the mob wants is right, it's brainless, it's thoughtless, it's immoral. And there's no place in a civilized society for mobs. So I always stand against the mob, always. And the consequences of that haven't been pleasant sometimes, trust me. But fuck it, I'm on the side of civilization and I know it.
So we all know that your favorite part of the show was torturing Sam, and you said a lot of funny lines there. So what was your favorite?
Actually, my favorite line isn't from that section. My favorite line is the one where I say snapping necks and cashing checks. It's what I do. Now, has that come out on DVD yet? It has? Do they have a special features? Oh, because I did something in an ADR session, a dialogue replacement session, where I made fun of that moment. I was hoping it would come in a special features. Let me know if you see that there. Yeah, that was my favorite line. What's yours?
Good morning, Vietnam.
Good morning, Vietnam. Robin Williams. Hey.
Hi.
I'm coming.
Yeah.
I'm like It Follows.
I was wondering if you could be Satan for a day, what you would do?
I would rid the world of hunger and poverty. I would. Let me ask you something. I want to get inside your mind a little bit. What would you do?
I don't know.
Here's what I would do. I would do one of the labors of Hercules, and I would pick up the Potomac River and move it right through Capitol Hill and flush them all down the toilet. And put in a rainbow coalition that would blow your mind. It's,
Hi.
we're taking over the world, man.
First, I just want to say that when you were on the show, when you played Lucifer, I fell in love with Lucifer so much that I named my car Lucifer.
Awesome, thank you.
All of my friends think it's actually just the name Lucy, but it's not. But my question is, since Lucifer has been played by other people lately, which I'm not okay with, because you are the best Lucifer, what do you miss about being on the show?
Oh, God. I mean, you're gonna make me cry. No, I love working with those guys. They're sincerely some of the nicest, smartest people that I've ever worked with, and so for me, I just miss being on a set where, you know, they've been working together for over a decade, and it's like clockwork, and there's no separation really between the cast and the crew. We all work together, like each other. And joke with each other and have fun with each other. So I miss that. You know, it's it's nice to go to work and have fun, you know, and look forward to having fun and exploring and knowing that you're working with a bunch of supportive people too. So I miss that. You know, it's not that it's rare in Hollywood, but certainly you don't feel like you're in a business when you're working on a show like that. You just feel like you're with your family and you're doing something you love at the same time. So I miss that. 4, 3. Copy that. What's up?
Hi.
Yes.
I just want to say that you're my favorite version of Lucifer, and thanks to you, it's not only my favorite character of Supernatural, but my favorite character of all time.
Thank you.
My question for you is there any hope of you ever returning to the show?
There's always hope.
Ow!
Always hope. Supernatural. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Hey.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi. So I was wondering, since we know that you got to sort of help Misha, and Misha sort of studied you in the show, I was wondering if you got to help Rick Springfield, because, you know, Rick Springfield.
No. Fucking hell. I'm kidding. No, I didn't. He had his own thing. I haven't even seen it yet, so I'm looking forward to seeing it. Yeah, no, he didn't call me. Hey.
Hello. First of all, this is my first convention ever, so I'm really glad I got a chance to ask you a question. This is awesome. My question is, after spending so many years not playing Lucifer, is there anything that you did to like get back into the mood of the character? Like, is there like a Lucifer playlist somewhere that you jammed to before, or I don't know, some like kind of headspace you got into to get back into it?
Well, I do start to get more mischievous before I play Lucifer, and it's a very disturbing habit to my wife because she becomes sort of the brunt of she becomes Sam to Lucifer. So you can imagine living with that for real 24 hours a day. Because that's sort of a basic element to his personality that I think is sort of important and makes him likable. And as painful as it can be to be around, it's fun. It's fun to do. So yeah, I start becoming a little bit more playful in a way that's not necessarily playful. Yeah. If you can play and have a victim at the same time, that's sort of... Oh God, that's terrible. Hey.
Hi.
Hi.
First, I want to thank you because Lucifer is one of my favorite characters.
Awesome, thank you.
And my question for you is, when it comes up in a conversation where the person who hasn't watched Supernatural and you play Lucifer, what is their reaction?
They usually think it's cool. I mean, how can you not think it's cool when you're like, yeah, I play the devil? I like that. I mean, to me, it's cool. Right?
It is. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. That was easy.
What's up? You're a great actor, and you've been acting for a long time, but I was wondering, if you weren't acting, what would you do?
I'd probably teach. I teach now, I teach acting, but it's a sort of an everything cornucopia of stuff in my acting class, but I really enjoy teaching and I learn from the process too, and that's really invigorating to me. Oh, the guys are here. Or not. Woo. Guys. Oh, I had such fun with you.
Doesn't it kind of sound like he's talking to a kitten right before he kills it? Oh, but you were so cute.
Guys, thank you so much. I love you.